know so many times there's certain things you don't even think to ask your parents for, because it's just like when you said, would her mother have let me stay? We never thought to ask because we assumed the response would be no.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You feel me? But if we were told yes and more things as children, we wouldn't be afraid, because we know now it's a 50-50.
Yeah.
For me, it was growing up, it wasn't a 50-50 for me.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend, same thing. It was not a 50-50 for her. It was maybe 80-20.
Yeah.
I had to ask when the mood was right and you just ate dinner and your favorite show on and you're comfortable. Hey, Ma, can I get the car for like 2 hours?
Because you learned a pattern or a behavior to be able to get what you wanted. I think that one thing that I want to say that Pastor Don talked about a little bit, and then we'll transition into what does true love mean, because I think it kind of correlates with what we're talking about a little bit. One thing that I want to say, while I was going through my divorce process and all of that, the roses definitely were my go-to. But there was one thing that Sister Rose said to me that really stood out, and it correlates to what Pastor Don said. And it was, y'all, I used to get so angry because something didn't work, or I didn't feel heard, or, the communication wasn't there between me and my partner. And Sister Kim looked at me one day. She was like, stop yelling. Literally, that's all. Literally, she said, why are you yelling? They heard you the first time, right? And that is so important, because not very many of us actually sit and listen in order to understand people. And that's why they become, Pastor Don said it, don't be so quick to anger and to rage. And those are skills that I realized after sitting down with a therapist and really learning myself and my history, was that those are things that were learned from my past, right? I learned to be disrespectful when it came to a marriage, because I saw that reflected in a lot of the marriages that I saw in our community. There's subtle things that we think aren't that big of a deal, right? By lying to our partner, but like you just said, our kids are literally watching us. Absolutely. Right? So they're learning that behavior. So when we talked about the smaller kids in that situation, what are the younger siblings learning? They're learning to be disrespectful to their own dad, their biological father, right? They're learning self-hatred a lot of times, because I'm sure there's things that their sister has said behind closed doors that they've been exposed to, that the parents may not have even known were really there. Right. And so hearing you say that is so important, especially for women who are in marriages and in relationships and really trying to find themselves and really figure out where to go next, is to just really stop yelling and assess where you are